Did you hear that Donald Trump actually was trying to authorize the Department of Defense to take out the drug labs for the cartels in Mexico? I'm talking about he wanted to bomb them, and then he didn't want anyone to know he did it. This is what I love about Donald Trump, and the left writes about this like, what an idiot, what a lunatic. And so they're going to try to expose him for this. But the reality is, I don't know. I think a lot of Americans think it's a good idea. The Mexican government doesn't take out the cartels. By the way, Trump is 55-0 in terms of endorsements. He's racking them up. But we're predicting he may run into a problem with Dr. Oz. Dr. Oz may not be the Wizard of Oz after all there in Pennsylvania. And what's going on with Brian Kemp? Trump wants him out. But Kemp looks like he's winning. It's coming down to the wire. But I got breaking news on Georgia. You don't want to miss this episode. And you want to protect yourself today in a special way. Remember this. You're going to have to go with, expressvpn.com. That's the secret. Annabelle was just talking to me yesterday. She goes, why are we doing to protect ourselves with our software and our telephones, our cell phones, and what are we doing when we travel? ExpressVPN. You want to get expressvpn.com/Lance, expressvpn.com/Lance, and that's how you're going to be able to get your same program my whole staff is on to protect your privacy. And we'll see you on the other side of the show. Oh boy, we're back. Can you believe how fast the day is flying by from coast to coast? We give you the most. Across the fruited plains, as my friend Rush Limbaugh used to say, all across America, people are dialing in and listening more and more to the show that puts you in the know. It gets you in the flow.
And you can go over to the Lance Wallnau podcast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because we do this every day during the week.
I got lost in my prose. Go to Lance Wallnau Show. You want to catch that podcast? 750,000 downloads, they tell me. But then I hear Mercedes say 500,000, and I don't know what to trust.
No, when did I say 750,000 downloads last month? We're adding almost 100,000 downloads per month. And so you can go lancewallnau.com/podcast. We'll take you any podcast platform you want to listen to. You can hear us.
I mean, if you include all platforms combined, we maybe reach 1 million people.
Oh, well, I'm saying that's just podcast downloads. It doesn't include all your social media, like on Facebook and Instagram.
See, I don't keep up with that stuff. This is the stuff that the staff does.
TikTok.
But I'd like to point something out. It's a personal point, but you might want to share this publicly with, well, actually, since you guys are friends of mine, and it's just us. Just us. You know what really bothers me? What bothers me is friends of mine that are at Mar-a-Lago with Donald Trump sending me pictures and saying, are you here? And I'm never invited. Now, I just am saying, if you know Brooke Rollins or Paula White, they're friends of mine. But I don't want to call them up and say, hey, can I go? But maybe if someone could contact them for me and say, hey, you got Gene Bailey there, Sean Foyt. What about Lance Wallnau? Why isn't he there? Just bring it up in a conversation.
Yeah, because nobody wants
Brooke
to be
Rollins.
Nobody wants to be that guy. Nobody wants to be like, hey, could I come?
Yeah, it makes me feel a little bit weird. So I don't even like talking about it, except we're friends, you guys in the audience and me, and I hear there's a million of you. Maybe if you could contact Brooke and say,
there's got to be a list.
Wallnau, isn't Lance there? Paula White. Hey, Paula. You and Lance are friends. Why don't you?
But this is how these things work, okay? It's not like you actually put an event list together. I put an event list together and then invite all your people. So it's like somebody that works for those guys that you're not in the peripheral.
I've got to talk to the person that puts the list. Kind of like Paula. You know what Paula had? That's why I bet Trump in the first place. Paula White's producer. Evidently, producers aren't putting together these lists anymore. He invited me originally, and then I'm off the list. Hey, look, Mercedes got me my Donald Trump flag. Let's hear what the boss says.
I don't frankly have time for total political correctness, and this country doesn't have time either.
That's why you guys got it. I'm just coming through the front door. Why haven't I been invited to Mar-a-Lago yet?
But you have been.
You mentioned all the candidates have been there. Well, I have been. All right, I have been.
It's just whatever list this was.
Yeah, I guess it's just recently I wasn't invited.
Well, I think you probably, how do you know to get lost in the mail? Remember the time you first met Trump and your old assistant lost the invitation and she said, you're going to kill me?
That's a fact. Trump wanted to meet me. That's right. And she actually didn't listen to the voicemail.
Wild. And
That was in the beginning of his
But
campaign.
it worked out. You ended up getting there.
Anyway, Trump does have one notable endorsement in trouble. Governor, I'm going back to this. David Perdue is running against Governor Brian Kemp, not to be confused with Jack Kemp, leading up to the May 24th, people. Come on, Georgia and Arizona have had an undue effect in the United States. That's where the mules were. Mm-hmm. That's where the left is doubling down on. Nothing to see here. But this other big endorsement in Georgia, former football standout Herschel Walker is leading, as are many other of his picks. So Herschel Walker's doing good. But GOP candidates for months have lined up at Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort and winter residence for an endorsement audience. And when they get one, woo-hoo, they cheered loudly. That's why I wanted to tell you. Governor Perdue's in trouble. David Perdue is running for governor. He's running against Kemp. Perdue is endorsed by the Donald. And he's the one who just came out with the governor. Are you going to stand for pro-life once that ban is in effect, or are you going to waffle? He's putting him in the crosshairs.
I'm going to go on waffle.
You think he's going to go to Waffle House?
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Remember when they were going to pull out like all those like different movie companies back when they enacted, what was that? Like voting? It was voting laws and all those.
Oh, they're always threatening. Always, it's like, we're going to take
liberals,
our sports franchise out. We're going to take our business out. But you know what? The American people are pushing back. I will warn you right now, Mr. Disney. Don't play any Mickey Mouse games with this MAGA movement. We're the most dangerous movement in history, according to Bumblebrain Biden. And we've just begun to bite or fight. U.S. Ups and downs. Ohio GOP turnout up 28%. Democrats turnout down 27%. What does it tell you? What does it tell you, Mercedes, when they had the primaries, and of course we said J.D. Vance won. And by the way, the one reason he did win is because Donald Trump Jr. went and threw the other guy, begins with an M, is a great guy too. He's on a lot of War Room, and he's a former vet, and he's talking about he's taking on Trump. He's going to take on the swamp. But then Donald Trump said he's meeting with McConnell in private. Okay. Anyways, the guy that J.D. Vance beat. Oh. Begins with an M. I forget his name. You guys in the chat will correct me very quickly.
We got to get better with names. We got to get somebody that just does names for you.
Yeah, okay. But the point is, the GOP turnout was 28, almost 30% higher than normal. Wow. Why? The base is energized. Oh, boy, we're like a coiled spring, and the spring is getting bigger every day. We're having meetings, by the way, if you want to know about these. Some 10 to 12,000 people at a time in arenas around the United States. We just finished 2 nights in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Powerful populist gatherings. If you're interested in the populist rallies that are the most powerful, scintillating, provocative, with great awakening overtones that are supernaturally, spiritually charged, you want to find out what we're doing. So just contact us at AskLanceNow.com.
Sure. We could do that, or just go to LanceWallnau.com and sign up there.
Yeah, sign up there, and you'll be notified when we do our next city. We're looking at Atlanta, of all things. We're looking at Atlanta for the next big rally. Wow. Ho! Anyway, if the GOP is up 28%, the Democrats are down 27%, it tells you that the Democrats are not necessarily inspired by the Biden coattails. So, but the base for the Patriots way up. This is a crazy story. Donald Trump wanted to fire missiles. Oh, I just wish he was president. He wanted to fire missiles and destroy drug cartel labs in Mexico, and then deny that we did it, and say, how do I know? For all I know, it could have been a lab explosion. It was illegal drugs, right? Just don't inhale the explosion air. But it's always the idiotic swamp Pentagon creature like Mark Esper, who is coming out with his book, Sacred Oath. Sacred Oath. He's part of the Fauci crowd up there. And it's going to be released where he's exposing objections that he brought to Mr. Trump. And Trump said, we could just shoot some Patriot missiles and take out the labs. Adding that no one would even know it was us. Well, I'll tell you what, Mark Esper, he thought it was a joke. And that was just stared Trump right back down there. Well, look, Esper, you're done. Nobody's interested in you. Chemical shipments are mislabeled at their origin, shipped to legitimate companies, then diverted to the TCO and smuggled to the clandestine laboratories. The Department of Energy, the DEA, the DEA knows that those drugs, listen, you guys know this, that there has to be levels of our government in the intelligence services working with the cartels to have the volume of drug business coming through the United States. Wouldn't surprise me at all to see that they got some clandestine links down there working quietly together on the borders to allow this stuff to happen. Because when you're dealing with the devil, it's just the devil. And so it's worth looking into this. Criminal organizations are the greatest drug trafficking threat to the U.S., which notes that they control most of the U.S. drug market and have established varied transportation routes, have advanced communication capabilities, and hold strong affiliations with criminal groups and gangs in the United States. You get that? It's an organized matrix, like a huge business. And it goes all the way to China, because China fentanyl is one of the number one killers of Americans right now, and is coming over in record quantities. And so Trump's absolutely right. Go to war. Use your military surveillance to identify where the labs are. The Mexican government will never do it. But an American president like Trump, kaboom.
Well, yeah, I thought too the Mexican president was like, hey, let's not do that.
Of course not, because he'd be dead in the water. The cartels control a large part of the country. Mm-hmm. They basically say, you leave us alone, we'll leave you alone. It's like Hitler said to the church. Look, you do your thing, I do mine. Let's not fight, or you don't want to mess with me. So I'm just telling you, people, with 1 minute and 43 seconds left, we're gonna need to have that kind of. And so what? They think, and these dummies, they think that I want to know why it is that you can kill babies, but you can't blow up meth labs. Democratic Party has their priorities wrong.
Agree.
All right. Anyway, Putin is, well, you can go with any story you want. I've got a couple of them that are very good. We got 1 minute and 17 seconds. And I
know it's hard to do anything in a minute. I do want to talk about the Arizona parents that are suing the school district for compiling a creepy dossier all about them. I mean, down to like taking photos of them with their kids. This is so infuriating, people. It's so creepy. Well, I don't want to. We only have a minute. It's the outrage of the week. Well, we're going to tease it out. We're going to do what Rush would do. Rush would start with it. He's going to take a brief station identification. When we come back, we're going to talk about this. Mm-hmm. I want you guys to know something. The Arizona Democrats have done a deep personal information gathering operation on is this families? Yeah. On the citizens who they see as their enemies. Remember this narrative that the greatest danger is the MAGA movement and that conservatives and Trump supporters are domestic terrorists? This is why they wanted the FBI to be threatening parents that you're on the terrorist watch list, because you're defying their Marxist, perverse takeover of your children. Well, it's not going to go well for them. Everywhere in America right now, these school boards are like kamikaze boards going down in flames, as they ought to. You're going to freak out when we give you the facts in a minute. Hello, friends. You might notice me drinking out of my new oh boy mug. This is the oh boy cup that my staff said. You say that a lot. I didn't know I say that, but this is the Lance Wallnau Show stuff we have. It's people always want to know, well, can we get a Lance Wallnau Show hat? Well, you got the hat right there. And Mercedes, they can also get the notebook where I put my notes in, and we put our stack of stuffed notes in here. And this is where you can get your notebook. Join me with my cup of coffee. There, you can even wear the hat, which I have to wear sometimes because I'm noticing my hair does get dried out in the Dallas sun. Does it? But your hat looks a little different than mine. What's going on there? Oh, this is the special Lance Wallnau Show Mercedes Sparks edition with Mercedes Sparks and very small lettering underneath. I'll have you see. It's, your name is clearly the prominent name, but just underneath. With Mercedes Sparks. Mm-hmm. By request, I would say at this point. People are begging us for this edition of the hat, only followed by demands for hats for Carl's name on it or Jonathan? The other guy, which is Jonathan. So, yeah, it's fun.
Well, we're starting a trend. And by the way, you can go there and find out all about the With Mercedes Sparks hat if you'd like to get that. And if you have this apparel on, by the way, when you come to our arena events, which are 10,000 and 12,000 people at a time now with our various shows that we're doing. You can, if you're wearing the hat, you get 10% off. The predictive book, God's Chaos Code, still a bestseller, over 100,000 sold, predicting the Billy Graham moment we're heading into in America right now, which is the turn of the populist movement and the rising of a movement to break the power of communism when government starts to conspire against the MAGA movement. We wrote about all this stuff. We wrote about this before the election that we all know was stolen. So, Lance Wallnau, oh, look at this. Best-selling author with Mercedes Sparks. All along, you've been demonstrating this tendency to get
or
your
have
name.
you been demonstrating the tendency?
Oh, have I been demonstrating?
That
Well,
there is a secret sauce behind
that's true.
a
Well,
lot
that's
of
why-
the Wallnau success.
That's why we put your name up there, because you did help us get the book over the finish line. As you said, before the election is better than after. I said, oh, details. All right, you want to go to lancewallnau.com/stuff,
stuff.
STUFF, or /merch, MERCH, or
Swag.
/swag. I was going to say stash. Swag, SWAG. I don't, in my head it was stash, but thank God I didn't say that. All right, we'll be. And you want to come right back? Do it now. Don't forget it. Do it now. If you wear this, 10% off on our product table. 10% off if you got the merch at any product table for any live event. Talk to you later. Bye bye. I want to point out today something which is very important for all of you to know as we're returning to this segment, and we're going to go right back to exposing the attack mechanism, just like that goofball lady who went after the liberals of TikTok to expose her and go to her sister's house and try to record her. This obnoxious, self-righteous. This is what happens when you have a religious zealot that doesn't have humility. The main problem I have with the left is it's a religion. They don't call it that, but all their behavior is moralistic, pietist, superior moral condescension. They feel like they have to ban you. They could do anything because you're a blasphemer to their holy faith. But they don't recognize that they're a religion that has no self-introspection, no humility, no owning of sin. Everyone else is a sinner, and they are the pious priesthood. And it's offensive as hell. It's obnoxious. And America's getting a whiff of the scratch and sniff, and the more they smell it, the more they don't like it. It's a false religion, and it's offensive, and it's abusive, and it's going down. Now, I do want to claim, I want to correct myself. In humility, I want to repent of something. My son pointed out here, who normally joins us on our broadcast, but is not here today because one of our cameras isn't working. But he did come up and challenge me. He said, you made a derogatory use of the term Waffle House. You said Kemp will probably go full tilt Waffle House. I want to clarify something. Nothing makes me happier than a waffle at Waffle House with 2 eggs over light. Mm-hmm. I personally, and the grits, down here in Texas anyway.
Yep.
So when I use the term Waffle House, I mean he's waffling. But that doesn't mean I personally don't like eating at Waffle House.
Very good. Thank you for
Did we clarify that? Are you satisfied? That's good. Thank you. Appreciate that. Now back, so I wrote Waffle House in my notes to make sure I covered that right here. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right, let's go back to this, and I want to knock this thing off. Is there any names we can expose on the left? Kind of just to let them.
I mean, I gave you my highlighted
but I didn't
copy.
read it because I was feeling convicted about Waffle House during the break, and I was kind of like talking to myself.
Okay, so but the highlights there, because I was like, hey, do you want my highlighted copy during the break? Okay, I figured that would be.
We're going to out some names here, people. We're going to tell you. You like calling us out? Well, guess what? We're coming, Arizona.
But no, just so we can clarify. It's the Scottsdale Unified School Board number 48 who's compiled this 100 gigabyte data dossier on a Google Drive.
Denver, is that put that up there? Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Denver. So they are suing is Amanda Ray, Kimberly Stafford, and Edmund Rich Richard, I'm sorry, who have said that they claim that they used both legal and illegal methods, the school board did, but of data collection to accomplish their unconstitutional goal. They go so far as to have collected the plaintiff's job, businesses, finances, medical history, family history, housing situation, and children. They've got videotapes, photographs, and recorded the plaintiff with their children. They used fake names and accounts to stalk plaintiff's social media activities and publicly berate them using false and grossly controlled information about the dossier. So it's like so strange, isn't this? And just because they're engaged right in their civic responsibility of ensuring the types of materials that are going into their children's study guides and curriculum in their schools. So isn't that creepy?
It's so creepy that I don't even think we need to even go any further than to say, who do we contact? That's the classic Bannon line, which we can't answer right now.
It's wild.
Who do we contact? Because I want to know, that, would this fall into the purview of the guy running for Mark, what's his name, is running for state attorney general out there?
Oh, Fincham?
Fincham? Let's see if we can pinch him and get him to respond.
Yeah.
Because he's a good legal brain. He knows the maneuvering. I think the school board, one of the things you could do is, and I'm sure you're doing it right now, flood the zone, people, on these school board elections and get rid of these people. I love what Bannon says when he says that we're going to do permanent damage to dismantle the Democrat apparatus in the next election because they are dangerous. We have to break it. I want to talk about Mother's Day Mother's Day, but I don't want to talk about it prematurely. I want to close this out. Are you satisfied?
All right. Well, I was going to pivot for you because I was going to pivot into it, but I was going to say, you oftentimes talk about the difference between lovers and warriors. That some people are more inclined to be cultural warriors. We're like ready to go. That's you. That's me. We're ready to like throw down. We'll throw hands. But then there's people out there who are like lovers, and that's a lot of moms. Those are people raising kids. These are people who are very relational, like, oh, I don't want strife, those types of people. You have said this. When you start going after a mother's children, that type of mama bear can actually become more ferocious than the bravest warrior that's out there. It's like when moms, like when your kids threaten you, like lift the car up to get the kid from underneath. That's what's showing up at the school boards. And they're calling them radicalized. I don't know if there's another article out today. I was on Bannon. I was listening to Bannon today. And the whole show is about that, about some article that they said, women are becoming radicalized. And so he did a whole show with a bunch of women on. But anyways, I just thought, I was like, that's what's happening. They're not necessarily being radicalized, but they're waking up, and it's a ferocious mama bear.
I'm telling you what, man, so along those lines, since we're coming up to Mother's Day. Now, this might be after Mother's Day when it's aired, though.
No, today we're live right now.
Oh, we're live right now. That's right.
Yeah, tomorrow's Mother's Day.
Tomorrow's Mother's Day. Well, anyway. Good news is that Marjorie Taylor Greene can you believe the Democrats were trying to keep her from running? They not only hit you in every way possible, they actually had a movement to try to keep her from running because she was too pro-choice or something. Some stupid reason like that. Anyway, she had to go to court to fight off challengers for her ability to even run for office. And imagine that. We're in this sad situation, folks. If all the MAGA movement, patriots, and we're a growing movement by the day. Oh boy, it's like a prairie fire out there, the populist movement. And what if we start challenging the right of Democrats to even run for office? We're going to vilify them in certain districts to the point where we take them to court on their right to run? That's weird territory. How about we just have free speech and you let people run and make the case? But I wanted to celebrate that because with Mother's Day, it's time to celebrate women. And of course, the big news is out there is this gal who's taking over for Pensacchi.
Yep.
Right? And they would pick somebody. Of course, the left is going to pick because they're radical, and they're just let them go ahead and be radical because they're what they're doing. They got this Jean-Pierre. I wonder if that's her real name, Jean-Pierre, because Ocasio-Cortez is actually Sandy Rollins or something like that. They do stage name changes.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they have to pick a minority because that's ticking all the boxes. Anti-Israel, anti-Semitic, has to be in a lesbian marriage with a CNN producer or something. I mean, I'm reading this going, and worked with MoveOn.org and, accused Israel of committing war crimes, and of course is pro pro-choice and hangs out with the other radicals. But the point is, this is not a spokesperson for America. And what the left is doing is they've taken over government. They've taken over. A normal administration would say, we want to unify the country. Let's try to at least pick someone who represents the majority of Americans. But what they do is they pick someone that represents the pathologies of the billionaire funding social elites on the coast. And that's who gets forwarded. And it's sad because America has to be constantly goaded and prodded into an awakening. Because what they want to normalize should not be normalized unless it represents most of America, and that includes flyover country.
I think it represents the America that they want to create. I think their choice, I think it reflects what they believe and what the type of America they would like.
Well,
their version of utopia.
Well, it does, right on down to the chemical castration of a lot of children. But it's not the America that should be endorsed by the President of the United States and by the party as this represents the future that we want for you. Because it's not where the American interests are right now. It's not the priority. When your country's going down in economic flames, by the way, this nuclear possibility, we never talk about nuclear war over there in Europe. And I just want to say something, that you praying moms got to keep praying, because these dunderheads, the same people that are touching everything they touch turns to crap. Their State Department, your State Department, is actually ginning up conflict with Russia. And Putin, it looks like I keep hearing he's going in for a cancer surgery. I don't know that in that fragile condition that he's in, that I want to keep poking and poking and poking the bear. The drones that are now being used with satellite technology we have, largely coming from Elon Musk, that Putin is feeling like the West is mobilizing. The United States is using this technology to fight a proxy war. And with drone strikes that are now hitting his ships, he's thinking about, he just did a drill to practice a limited tactical nuclear strike just to send the fear of Russia into Europe. With, what's the greatest amount of damage I can use a nuclear weapon for with the most limited fallout, so that I could take out key sites. And he's looking at chemical attacks also. And they just did war games. He's basically telling the West, I'm looking at what you're doing as a direct expansion of war, so I might just strike Ukraine in a way that is going to freak you guys out. So we want to pray, and I mean this sincerely. This is a program which is sometimes whimsical, but in the name of Jesus, I pray for peace in Europe. I prayed to bless, here's a crazy one, bless Zelensky, Lord, bless Putin, and cause peace in Ukraine and in Russia so that wars can cease. And may God bless the mothers who have turned out in America to be the catalyst rallying point against critical race theory and the destruction of gender pathologies that are hitting kindergarten to third grade in Florida. Thank God for the DeSantises that are standing up, and thank God for you. You women that are out there, you wives and mothers, you're the future of America. Let them hear you roar, and we'll see you again in our next episode.
Did you enjoy this latest episode? Please remember to share it with your friends, because the more knowledge you have, the better equipped you are to navigate the world. See you tomorrow.
You know what's hard? Saving America. You know what's important? Getting a good night's sleep. How do we do that? With Mike Lindell bedding, pillows. And do you know who else needs a good night's sleep? Your pet babies. Did you know Mike Lindell has pet beds? My Pillow, special for your fur babies. Bedding. Go check it out. You go to mypillow.com and be sure you use the promo code Lance, because you're going to save tons. So go check it out. Mike's got so many great products over there, other than the MyPillow, other than the bathrobes, other than the slippers that you're hearing about all the time. He's got tons of stuff. So go check out the website. I'm sure you don't have it all. We got to